So we had it is on a Wednesday. We had his 20-week, well, my 20-week appointment, and we went down to do his ultrasound. And you know, you're sitting in this room and it just didn't feel like it had with Brooklyn. They just kept going over things, and then they went and got another doctor. And so we left there and they said, yep, good, but it didn't feel right. Then I was at cross country, getting ready for cross country practice on that Thursday, and got the call that, hey, your ultrasound came back, you're gonna need to come in.
Basically at the neck of his bladder, there was a blockage. And so what happened is his kidneys basically just got beat up the whole pregnancy. So they weren't able to like build and release any amniotic fluid at all. So they basically were kind of in there just shriveling, and whatever limited fluid that could get through that blockage kept him alive.
So Zach and I kind of just decided that pending if he was going to be hurting at all or anything like that, it was in hands bigger than ours that we were going to continue on with this. So we went down to Iowa City within that next week.
When we got him here, he came out and he was screaming, and they thought he was doing great.
5 pounds, 12 ounces.
Yeah,
so.
5'12". And then we got him back to the NICU, and he crashed pretty hard back there. And then, you know, just the lack of amniotic fluid, he blew his lungs out, so they had to chest tube him there. And, you know, then also obviously intubate him, and he stayed that way for, you know, quite a few weeks before they felt like they could, you know, get him the nutrition he needed to withstand the surgery. And then he got him on that, and then became a dialysis patient right away. And it was kind of like we needed it to be this magical zone where it was between, you know, being able to survive the pregnancy, but also being big enough to, if these kidneys were as bad as we thought, which everything suggested that they were, to get on dialysis, you needed to be X amount of pounds. And actually the first ever form of dialysis that AJ was on in an infant was in 2014. So, like, you know, I don't know if miracle's the term, but it's pretty close.
During that time, we did dialysis every night. So he would be on a dialysis machine while he slept for about 12 hours. And with that comes, I mean, it's a miracle to be able to have that option, because without it, we wouldn't have him here today. But it's something that comes with its own set of complications too. And so we spent some time, and during this time we went back every month for checkups, just to make sure his levels were all good and everything was going good. I think Zach and I kind of always had it in the back of our minds that one of us would be the donor, and you don't think like that might not possibly work out. Whereas parents, he has to have our DNA, and you don't think until you start going through this testing how sometimes it doesn't all come to be like that. The kidney started working within minutes of being transplanted. You always have to be aware of rejection and bacterial infections. You just have to stay up on your stuff, and we have to be more mindful than we probably would with Brooklyn with temperatures and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully this will last us, and they have all sorts of stuff in the works as to what this might look like down the line as far as artificial kidneys are involved. And so what will that look like? We don't know. These were two big hurdles we needed to get through, and now you kind of feel like that was a chapter, and now this is our next chapter with AJ. And it's been a little bit of an adjustment, because we've always been kind of on like the worrying and making sure this is right and making sure that is right, and those things are kind of falling off. So it's figuring out a whole new us, what that will look like. Tim Miller was the principal at that time, and actually that day after we got the news about at my 20-week appointment, I went into his office and I just said, "Hey Tim, this is what our plan is right now." And he just hugged me and said, "Beck, we'll get through this." And it was truly a will, because there was not one point in time that the whole West Des Moines schools wasn't right there with us. How do you tell a whole district thank you? Because everybody who did a little thing, they don't realize how big of a thing that might have been at that point in time for us, and just how proud we are of this. Always proud to be in our profession and to work for a wonderful school district, but this puts it on a whole different level, because we just want to work harder, we want to be better, because they came, the West Des Moines schools came and stepped up for us, so we owe that back to them.
The only thing we can do is try to pay it forward. That's what I try to tell people. You know, if it's getting involved in Valley's Dance Marathon, we're helping the kids that we know are over there, or families in our district that we know are struggling. I think it's made us definitely more empathetic. I think educators, because you know, our little thing was one thing, but people, there's a lot of stories out there at the hospital and in our town that, you know, we're very fortunate that things have bounced our way, and so hopefully we can continue to serve our kids with that sense of empathy and our families, and just pay it forward.